Well, like Doris said, my name's Tom Gott. 31 years ago, I was 22 years old, and my wife and I decided to take on a business venture. I graduated from college, went to Wayne State. My degree was industrial management. Emphasis was kind of construction design. And so I came out of college. I went to work for a local lumber yard, learning materials and connections, and just trying to learn how that system worked. After about a year as a manager trainee there, it looked like I was probably going to be sent out to western Kansas to manage one of their new yards out there. And my wife and I kind of had a little discussion and decided that we were at the point we wanted to start a family, and we wanted our kids to grow up with grandparents around. So western Kansas and Columbus, that wasn't a very good proximity for a family. So long story short, we decided that it was time to look for maybe another venture, something that would enable us to stay local in Columbus. We grew up in Columbus, and that's where we wanted to be, in this part of Nebraska. So we decided that we would open a custom framing and matting shop, do something like that. I got in contact with SCORE, which is Service Corps of Retired Executives. And I think you guys will be working with SCORE members throughout your course here. But the person that happened to get our case, his name was Carl Langren, and Carl had started a photography studio in Schuyler in the early 50s, I guess mid-50s, and then he had moved it to Columbus in the mid-70s, and then he had sold it to another gentleman. Well, he knew that that person was looking for somebody to purchase their business. He thought, well, what we wanted to do kind of went hand in hand with this other business. So we thought, well, that's something to look at. So I was still working at the lumber yard, and I'd go over and I'd help the photographer at that point on Saturday afternoons at weddings. I was just kind of a glorified gopher. I didn't know anything about photography at that point. And after one day, we went over to photograph a wedding up in Humphrey. And on the way back from that, a gentleman said, "Would you like to buy a business?" I really wasn't prepared for it at that point, because I think I had worked with him for maybe 2 or 3 times. I said, well, I don't know, I'll have to talk to Chris, find out what she thinks about it. I'm not walking out of your camera, sorry.
No, you're
I wander a lot, adult ADD. But I said, can you show me how to load the camera? Because that was before we had digital, everything was film. There was no such thing as digital photography at that point. Can I sit on your table? No?
Yes.
Okay. So that's kind of how we got started. I went back and talked to Chris, and we said, well, yeah, let's give it a shot. We really didn't have anything at that point. The only thing we had of value was, I think I had a 67 Camaro that we sold. That was our down payment for a business. And we were able to borrow, I think, $2,500 from a family member to kind of help us give us some operating capital. And we went kind of from bank to bank to bank, trying to find somebody that would help finance the purchase of the business. And 22 years old, no experience. It was a business that was failing at that point, so we just got the door slammed in our face every time we go someplace. So finally, I met with a gentleman at First National Bank, and he worked with the Small Business Administration, and really kind of took us under his wing, helped us step in and take all care of all the paperwork, and they basically helped finance our purchase through the Small Business Administration. So that worked out really well as far as financing for us. That's, I guess, one of the things as far as being an entrepreneur. You do assume a lot of risk, and it's usually it's financial risk on your own. So I guess one of the things you talk about, what do you guys see as what's your definition of an entrepreneur? What's the main difference? What do you think an entrepreneur is?
Innovator.
Innovator. Okay. Any other words anybody else thinking? Getting early, isn't it? Well, according to the dictionary, I'm just winging this. Doris called me yesterday afternoon to come up with something, so here we are. According to the dictionary, an entrepreneur is a person who organizes and operates a business or businesses, taking on greater than normal financial risk in order to do so. Another definition was it's usually a sole proprietor or a partner, or one who owns the majority of shares in an incorporated venture. The one thing is I was looking through definitions of entrepreneurs is it's somebody that's willing to take a risk. Somebody that has, that goes to school, learns the job, and goes to work for another business where that gets you some security. You've got a steady paycheck, you usually have some benefits. After a while, you're in vacation phase. As an entrepreneur, you're basically in your own business. You don't necessarily have that steady paycheck coming in all the time. What you get depends on what you do. A lot of people say, oh, you got your own business, so it's great to be able to set your own hours. Yeah, that is. That's one of the nice benefits of that. However, when you're not at work, there's no paycheck coming in. You don't get benefits. You don't have a paycheck coming even if you're not there. You don't get vacation days that are paid. There's a lot of things like that that as a business owner or as a small business owner or an entrepreneur that you don't have those opportunities. There are a lot of other great opportunities that you do have though. I mean, there are times that you can plan ahead. As our kids grew up, they were involved in different activities, a lot of weekend things. So we were able to look at their schedule ahead of time and see which weekends are they going to have tournaments, what weekends are they, do we want to go camping, what things do we want to do with the family, and we're able to cross those times off and fill in, maybe work extra in the evenings the week prior or the week after. We could make those hours up other times. However, those weekends that we were gone, there's no income coming in because you are your source of income. So that is, there's benefits to it, but there's also the fact that if you're not working, you don't get the, so I always kind of smile when people say, "I wish I could do what you do," and they, not have to work when I don't want to. There's no work that way. I guess one of the, there's different types of, looking at entrepreneurs, there's different types of entrepreneurs. You got people that have small mom and pop businesses, kind of like we do. You have people that are more of a business builder, somebody that sees a problem within the community or within a product that needs to be made. Maybe there's a problem that needs to be solved, so they come up with an idea. And I think, to me, really, this is what the epitome of an entrepreneur is somebody that sees a problem, realizes that there's a product that can be devised to fix that problem. They do that, whether it's something through social media, whether it's an actual hard product that you work with every day, something to make people's lives easier. So you have to come up with an idea. You have to raise the capital in order to build that product. Then you have to build it, and then you have to find customers that are going to purchase that. And once you've got those three things together, you got an idea, you got the capital, you got customers, then you have a business. Now, a lot of people, as entrepreneurs, will take that time, or take the business that they've done, that they've created, and that's their baby. And they'll continue to grow that business and market, create and obtain new customers, and they'll continue with running that business throughout their life. A lot of entrepreneurs, their thing is to go through that whole process, build a business, and then sell it. And then they'll start another one, do the same thing, and sell it. So there's a lot, I think they call that's a serial entrepreneur. Somebody that is very good at seeing a problem, solving it, creating a business around it, and then selling it off at a profit. There's different types of entrepreneurs as far as I can see. But it just kind of depends where your niche falls. Do you want to have a big business, something where you've got a lot of people to deal with? Or do you want to have something smaller where it's just mom and pop or family? You have to kind of plan which route you want to take for those things. Any questions so far? That's all we got. Doris, you have any?
So, you started on a shoestring with a SBA loan, and you did a business plan for that?
We did. We had to go through, and that's something you'll learn in this class, is how to develop a business plan. It's been 30-some years since I've done that, so I'm not going to go through and tell you step by step what you have to do. Those are things you'll learn in this class. However, I do know that as we went through that, we had to we took probably the 5 or 10 year, a 5-year period of time that the business was in existence prior to when we purchased it. And we've made projections in each segment of that business. We evaluated each segment. So as a photographer in our studio, the different segments that we looked at were, we have family pictures, we have senior pictures, you have children, you've got weddings, you've got school contracts, you've got athletic events. So we tried to break down each category within our business, okay? And then we looked at, say, okay, which of these is our dominant sector? We didn't want to have one part of our business to be this much, and then all the rest would be little pieces like this. If you lose that one piece that's huge, then all that's not, then your business goes away. So you really want to try to balance the sectors of your business so you've got everything is fairly equal. But you also want to look at each sector of the business and figure, okay, which areas, what's profitable? And if this area isn't profitable, is it something we want to keep doing? And or if it isn't profitable and we want to keep doing it, how do we make that area of our business more profitable in order to keep doing it? So we basically went through the 5 years prior to us buying it, looked at each of those sectors of the business and evaluated those things. And that was part of our business plan when we presented that to the SBA officer. These are areas that we see some potential, and this is why we think we can grow these areas. These are areas that historically have not been profitable profit centers for this business. We think we'll probably eliminate this, or this is what we're going to do to make it more viable. And then we had to come up with how we're going to build a business. We had to kind of have a marketing plan as far as what are we going to do to make it a profitable business. Because when we purchased it, it was none of the banks really wanted to help us. SBA did. But the business plan, we had to show where we were, what we projected for growth, how we were going to get there. So, and those are all things we did annually, even after we bought the business. We'd go through each sector of that business and evaluate, okay, this area's down this year. Why is it down? Did we not market that area well? Did something change within our community that caused that to change? Is somebody else moving into that market area? Do we need to? So that's as a business owner, that's something you need to do regularly and annually at least, is evaluate each segment of what you do in order to make sure that you remain viable in that market area.
So when I talk to people that want to start their business, they usually are employed. They have an income. You mentioned that. Do you have a formula to, when is it time to stop my employment and do the business, or do you just cold turkey and step in?
That's a good question. So, have any of you guys kind of got ideas for a business right now? What's yours?
I don't know, just like crafts.
Okay. Crafts like Etsy type, okay. Okay. Are you thinking more, is it like furniture crafts or like wall hanging type things? Wall hanging. So this is more of an artistic type of thing. Okay. All right. What's your idea?
Like photography.
Photography. Okay. Nature work. Okay. Like landscape, wildlife, that sort of thing. Okay. You have an idea yet? What's your?
Like planning and decorating and graphic design for different events.
Okay, so like an event planner type of thing, and designer for those sorts of things. Okay. You have an idea yet? Still thinking about it. Anything?
Kinda, it's kinda like a ball shooter toy.
Okay, so more of an inventor type of thing. Okay, all right, great.
Something crafty.
Crafts,
Like hair bows.
hair book, okay, great. Okay, so back to Doris's question, when does this become a business? Number one thing, it has to be profitable. You have to be able to make money. If something you enjoy doing, but when you look at your bottom line, if what you're spending on it is more than what you're making on it, it's a hobby. It's not a business. Okay, so you've got to evaluate where you're at. And hobbies are great. Everybody has to have some hobbies. You have to have things that you enjoy doing and fulfill as part of your life. We're all creative. We all have to have things that we do and our hobbies are what enable us to stay creative and do those things. They're fun. But in order for you to take your hobby to the point of being a business, it's got to make money. Okay, so if, say you get through school and you go to college, get a degree, go get a job someplace, and let's say you're making $40,000 a year in your job. Okay, I got $40,000 a year, plus I've got benefits, and you start looking at healthcare and the benefits and things that it costs, you probably figure that's another $20,000 out of your pocket that it's gonna cost you if you don't have those benefits. Okay, so then you look, okay, now I've got, after a couple of years, I'm gonna have 2 weeks of vacation time that's there. So there's a value in that. So you look at, okay, I've got the salary, I've got the cost of what the benefits would cost me if I'm not there, and I've got 2 weeks of paid vacation that I can go play that I'm still getting paid for. So that, basically, those three things to me are what your actual job is worth. A job is someplace you go and they pay you to put in your time and provide your expertise in something. Okay, so you have to look what the value of that job is. Now at home you've got a hobby that you enjoy doing. It's what to do, whether it's photography or bows or pet planning or inventing. You've got a hobby that you do on the side of your job, right? Okay, so we've all got 24 hours in a day. You go to your job for 8 hours, you sleep for 8 hours, and you've got another 8 hours in there somewhere, right? How successful you are as an entrepreneur or as a business owner or as whatever you are depends on that other 8 hours. It's not the 8 hours you spend at work, it's not the 8 hours you sleep, it's the 8 hours that you have other than those times. What do you do with it? Are you sitting at home watching Netflix? Are you sitting watching YouTube videos? Are you listening to music? Are you hanging out with friends? Or are you doing something productive at that time? That other 8 hours depends how successful you can be in life. So, back to your question. If you take that other 8 hours, you put it into your hobby or your inventions, and you figure out your marketing, whatever you do to make your product successful, pretty soon you're going to start seeing profit coming from your hobby. And when that profit becomes equal to or greater than what your job is, that's a real easy point at that point to say, okay, I no longer have a job, I'm an entrepreneur, I've developed a business. And that, to me, I guess that's the easiest way to do it. Not everybody does it that way. Some people will say, okay, I'm going to quit my job, I'm going to just devote everything I've got into my idea. And that makes for some pretty lean times because you have to figure out how am I going to pay for what I'm doing, how am I going to support my family, if you have a family, or myself. And you've still got rent to pay, you've still got insurance to cover, you've got all those things that take precedence in your life that you have to pay for. If you just quit your job and decide, oh boy, I'm gonna invent something, I'm gonna sell it, you're probably gonna come on kind of hard times because you still have expenses. So it's a fine line. You got to figure out where the balance is. How much risk are you willing to take? How much do you believe in yourself? You've got to believe in what you do, and more importantly, you have to have people, customers, that believe in what you do. And you'll see that as you start marketing your product and you start seeing some success in what's there, because that money starts to build up in your savings from your business. You'll see where you'll know when the time is to put your job on.
Let's take it to the other end. I know in the business plan, you talk about you had to put in your exit strategy. So talk a little bit about that preparation.
That's a tough one, guys. All through the classes you'll take on entrepreneurship and business, all the business classes that we take, everything we learn is how to build your business. How do we create that product? How do we make it better? How do you market to your customers? How do you acquire customers? How do you keep new customers coming? It's all about building a business, making it bigger and better. But you never really get a lot of information on an exit plan. I look back and I think, okay, nobody ever really sat with me and talked to me and helped me figure out, okay, 30 years down the road from the time I start this, or 40 years or 50, whenever, how do you make it go away? I mean, how do you get the benefits of what you've built over all these years, how do you, that's really an odd concept for you guys to look at this point, because you're just beginning those wheels turning. You're just starting to think about how am I gonna make this be? We all have dreams of grandeur. Look at Zuckerberg and Gates and all the guys that started their businesses basically in their garage or in their dorm rooms, and where they're at now. But, we all have visions of grandeur, but just for a typical mom and pop regular guy business like we have, we never really thought about, okay, when the time comes to start thinking about retirement, think about what we do, how do we dissolve all this and make it go on? There's not always going to be a buyer for your business, depending on what it is. Sometimes you'll create a great business and people will be knocking at your door trying to buy it. And I hope that works for all of you guys. But that's not generally the case. So, exit strategies. One of the things that someone told us right when we started our business, one of the first classes we went to. By the way, one of the things I want to make sure that you guys realize the importance of is getting involved with like-minded people that work in the same areas you do. For us, we got involved with the Nebraska Professional Photographers Association, with the Professional Photographers Association of America. We got involved with those groups, and we made a point every year and every season to go to the conferences, to spend time with people. It's not always the classes that you go to there, but it's the time you spend with people that you find you have commonality with, because you learn, it's networking. You're learning to network with other people that have similar ideas to you. And it can help you in the market, help you learn to come up with new products, how to perfect what you do, just the systems of how your business runs. Networking with like-minded people is a huge thing. But I remember one of the first classes that we went to, one of the speakers, and he had become a great friend of mine. I just got word that he passed away yesterday morning. But he told me, he said, Tom, he said, I don't care if you make $100 this month or if you make $100,000 this month, take 10% of every deposit you have, put it into a savings account. There's going to come times in your business when you need money for a rainy day. There's going to be times when things aren't going well. You're going to have something to back up on. If you don't have that, you're going to go under. So we did that. We've done that religiously for 31 years. Every deposit, we've done that. And sometimes it's a couple bucks, sometimes it's a few $100. But you do that. Eventually, after 30 years, that builds. Okay, so that has helped us through hard times, but it's also helped us maybe with an exit strategy. After 30 years of doing that, that's helped us to fund some retirement, because in your own business, you don't have a retirement. The company is matching everything you put into a 401k like you would, like if you're working for, say, a PPD or the government, whatever. Where if you have a position with another corporation, sometimes they give you those benefits. But when you're on your own business, you have to figure out ways to fund those things yourselves. Okay, so that maybe is a little bit of our exit strategy. You can look at ways to sell a business. Okay, there are business brokers out there that will help you find people that are looking to purchase something like you have. There are also, you can just liquidate everything you have, and hopefully you're probably not going to get full value for what you have. If you invest, like what Chris and I did many years ago, 17, 18 years ago now, we realized that by the time we're ready to retire, there probably isn't going to be a huge market to buy a photography studio, because everybody has a digital camera now. I mean, the phones that you guys have right now have got more storage capability and better lenses than when we first started doing digital photography. They're better than what our professional cameras were. So our world has changed as far as that goes. So it's going to be more difficult when the time comes for us to actually sell our business. But what we did 17 years ago, we decided, okay, we're going to buy some property, put a nice building out that we can have our studio, enjoy the benefits of that building for however long we need to. But then we've got some of that property. Hopefully, by the time we're ready to retire, that'll be paid off. And so that'll be part of our exit strategy. We'll have that real estate to hopefully somebody will want that. So as a small business owner, mom and pop thing, we had to look at our exit strategy maybe a little differently than you would if you've created a business or a product that you're able to sell off to somebody that really is in wanting to have what you created. Now, when we first bought our business, it was pretty easy to sell a photography studio back then because a lot of people wanted to get into it, and it wasn't so much home-based. It's becoming a lot more home-based than that people will just work the studios out of their homes. So you have to kind of stay abreast of what your industry is doing in order to kind of figure out, okay, when is the right time to leave? I'm kind of rambling right now, but does that kind of
Yeah,
answer it all?
one more question. We spend really a session on looking at our competitors. Years ago, when I had my ceramic business and I involved with the chamber, somebody said something about, well, there's a ceramic business in town, and looked right at me and says, you probably don't like that. And I said, no, I welcome it. Talk about friendships, and you mentioned like minds, competition. Talk about that.
You know, when I started this business, or when I bought our business back in 1986, there were basically two other photographers in town. There was two other professionals, Tim Freeze, Mike Sr., and Anderson Studio was the third one that was when we bought. And it was really nice at that point because I was a 22-year-old kid that really didn't know which end was up or down. But both of those two, both of them came and offered their help if I ever needed anything, if I had questions on what to do. We were really more counterparts as far as I don't think we viewed each other as competition. We were more friends that were there to help each other out. If one of us was sick and had a wedding that weekend, the other one stepped in and helped out. And that's a fantastic relationship to have with your competition. You know, if you can go out of your way to kind of compliment those people, help them through, you know, help you offer your services if you can. Hopefully they'll come back here as well. One thing I found within the professional photographers in Nebraska was that group was always so willing to step in and help whenever something happened, or if you needed a hand. If you had questions of how do I do this? Well, this is how I do it. It might work for you. And there's a whole list of phone numbers you could call and talk to people. They're always very willing to share. Why don't you come down to my studio for a day, spend a day with me, see how we do it. Yeah. So we took turns kind of going to each other's studios and just kind of get ideas from each other. And that was a really nice relationship to have with a lot of different people. It helped make me who I am, helped me to, you know, to become a master photographer, to get the degrees that I need. I wouldn't have known how to do any of that stuff without the assistance from those people. We've noticed, my daughter now, Gabby, she graduated from UNL. She got a degree in design. She's been back for about 2 years now, she's started to kind of take her studio over a little bit. Matter of fact, she's now doing a engagement session right now. I was supposed to tell her, but I got out of it, so I got to do this. So, but Gabby is just kind of really taking things over. And she's got a lot fresher, a new approach. Her marketing is more social media marketing. She understands that a lot better than I do. You know, I've kind of lived under a rock as far as that goes for a long time. I'm kind of happy under the rock, so I'm fine there. But she does, you know, she's forcing me to grow a little bit as well. But I totally forgot what I was talking about. But what was the question again?
Competition?
Competition. So one of the things Gabby and I both have noticed, she'll go out and do wedding fairs in Lincoln and Omaha and Columbus. And one thing she has really come back from each time she's gone to one, she goes, you know, I go into these wedding fairs and there's many photographers in there that are, some of them are really good, some of them are just not good at all. she said, the people that are part of the Professional Photographers Nebraska Association are always the ones that come up and talk and are friendly and, you know, offer whatever. It's the people that aren't part of those associations that just kind of stick their nose in there and don't want to talk with you. So that, our profession has changed a lot because of that. Because you've got a lot of people that are doing their own thing and don't want to share anything with anybody else. And it's, and typically it's the people that don't want to invest in the education or the time to learn to do things the right way. There's a cost to education. There's a cost to teaching yourselves how to do something correctly, and that the cost is basically time and the money to go to class and learn to do things right. And a lot of times, my feeling is the people that don't want to do that, wanting to do everything on their own, and take it all for themselves. It seems like a lot of times those are people, maybe they're a little standoffish because they're not comfortable, they don't know the technical end of things, they haven't taken the time to learn. And so maybe they're standoffish because they're just not comfortable on a knowledge level. So I guess competition-wise, try to stay abreast of what your competition is doing. We've never run our business that way. There's a lot of people that have in the past, they go, well, they're doing this, so we got to undercut them a little bit. We got to be a little bit cheaper than they are. It really doesn't turn out well for anybody. If you're trying to undercut and try to, if you're so busy watching your competition, what they're doing behind you, you're probably going to walk into a wall because you're not watching ahead of you. Do what you do. Do it the best of anybody else. And don't look around your shoulders to see what everybody else is doing. Do what you do, focus on what you do, and try to do it better than anybody else can do it. I think if you do that, and I think if your clients realize that you're doing that, you're going to have some success. Number one thing, I think, as an entrepreneur or a business owner or working for somebody in a job, try to do it better than anybody else can do it. You know, I don't care if you're cleaning toilets as a janitor. Make that urinal shine better than the guy before you did. Everything you do, somebody notices. And especially in today's world with all the social, there's nothing that goes unnoticed. So do everything you do with a purpose. Walk with a purpose. When you walk up to somebody, look them in the eye, shake their hand, have good contact. Don't look down and talk to people. Do everything you do with a purpose. Go through your life that way. Work hard. Those extra 8 hours of every day, do something productive with those. That 8 hours is what's going to make the difference between you working in a minimum wage job for the next 20 years or hiring people working minimum wage for you. Okay? What other questions?
Very good.
Okay. You guys have any questions? Yes.
Do you have a business degree?
My degree from Wayne State College was a Bachelor of Arts degree in industrial management with an emphasis in construction and design. So I'm not really using any of that in my profession, in my job. My degree as a photographer, I have a master's degree as a photographer, and I also have a craftsman's degree as a photographer. To obtain a master in photography degree, you have to enter prints that you've worked on in national competitions, and they have to be judged at a certain level. They go through panels of judges. Those prints have to be judged at a certain level, and you earn merits of the prints that you had judged. So when you get to a certain number of merits, you become eligible for your master's degree. Going along with that master's degree, you also have to spend so many hours giving back or teaching photography to other students or other organizations. So I traveled through, when I was in that process, I taught in Colorado and Wyoming and Montana and South Dakota and Kansas and Iowa and Nebraska. I went through different associations and taught photography, our style and some of the things that we do to those groups. So that's what helped me get my master's degree.
So it's not really like a course you went through, it's more.
And you build that through the Professional Photographers of America, the PPA. PPA, Professional Photographers of America. That is who actually bestows your degrees on you as a photographer. And then the Craftsman's degree basically comes to teaching. So you have to go out and teach teach photographers at different conferences. You have to have so many hours of that. And once you've established so many hours of that, then you earn the Craftsman's degree. So that's how we earn our degrees through PPA. So it's not only judging your work as far as what you actually create as a photographer, but also is based on what you give back and the teaching that you do. If you do a good job in your teaching environment the first few times, you'll find that other associations call you and ask you to come and work for them as well. And that kind of goes back to doing the best you can do and doing everything with purpose. Because if you do a good job here, other people are going to see it, and they're going to share that with other people, and then they're going to ask you. That's just like your business. You do the best you can do, and everything you do is good enough is never good enough. Getting a little cliche here, but there's a lot to that. Okay? See if I had anything else here. That's kind of about where we were yet. Oh, one other thing I just wrote down is that success is not an accident, it's a choice. So again, you have to choose everything you do. You make a conscious choice to succeed in something. You're not going to wake up one day and, wow, I'm successful. You know, if you keep doing the same thing you're doing, you're going to keep getting the same results. So if something isn't working for you, change it, do something different. If something's working a little bit, perfect it, make it better. Go through your life with a purpose. It's relationships, it's job, it's your spiritual life, everything you do. All of those things are important. Okay? Any other questions? You guys been good listeners, thank you. Appreciate you having me here today. Doris, you have any other questions at all? Anything else I can do?
That's good.
Okay.
Thank you, Tom.
I appreciate you guys having me. Good luck with your class, okay? Thank you very much. See ya.
Okay. I guess I'm running. I forgot to mention, in your packet, for each speaker, you have a sheet to fill out, so I'll give you a few minutes to fill that out, and then we'll get going on the paperwork. Some ground rules. This is a college class. If you have to step out, bathroom, whatever, you just go. You know, ask permission. Rules are in the back. Coffee, tea, hot chocolate. The hot chocolate machine or the hot water machine is at the end of the hallway. We'll show you how to use those. If you need to use the restroom, these are hanging up over the railing outside the door. You must have this on you, because once you walk out the wooden doors, you're no longer in CCC property, you're NPPD property. And NPPD is a lockdown facility. All that means is because they have a nuclear plant, not here, but because they have a nuclear plant, their facility has to be secured at all times. And the security, if you ever need, if you feel that something isn't right, if you ever need to get a hold of security, they're literally right over there on the other side of the wall. You can see their door. If you walk through the wall, it would be right there. There's cameras everywhere except in the CCC area. So when you walk out, they will make sure that whoever's in the hallway has a badge that's supposed to be there. The restrooms, so when you walk out the wooden door, across is a gray box with a little red dot. Just scan the badge. The dot, it'll ding at you. The dot will turn green. Then the doors will open, the glass doors. The restrooms are, I always say, kind of halfway down the hallway. There's an exit sign, because there's another door to the west. The women's are before the exit sign, the men's are after the exit sign, on the right side. Yeah. And then when you come back, in order to get back out those glass doors, you had to scan your badge. Again, the red light or green light will turn red, the red light will turn green, and the door will open for you. This wooden door is always unlocked when you're here, and so the handle doesn't move, you just pull. So if the little light is green by the door, that means it's unlocked. Okay? So that's NPPD. Did everybody pick up one of these? You did? Okay. Anybody else not get one? Okay. This is for your business card or credit card, but what it does is oops, guess I took my phone off. It attaches to your phone, and this, then your phone can sit up for you, but the slot is for your business cards or credit cards right on your phone. And it has a little stand. That's what I think's cool about it, it's a little stand. So, okay, so make sure you grab one of those. Did everybody get a packet? And did everybody get a booklet? Okay, we will talk about both of those in a little bit. All of you have signs in front of you. Go ahead and put your name, and we will use these each time. And we're going to add to your name tag when you get your business identified and a name to it. Then we're going to add your business name onto your name tag. So if you wrote nice and big so I can see, that's great. And if we need to make your name a little smaller when we get your business name on there, we can do that too, because we have erasers. Okay, so that is that. Want to be decorative, you can. Put it on both sides so both from people behind you or in front of you can see who you are. And after the first couple of times, everybody knows everybody anyhow. Okay.
Will we get a packet like this every session?
Yes. Yep. Okay. Okay, this take care of the paperwork, Susan.
Do you want me to go over the paperwork?
Yep, Susan's my paperwork person.
Alright. In the packet, on the one side with the big orange sheet on it, this is paperwork you need to fill out, and one piece of paper your parents need to fill out. That all needs to come back with you next time, with the correct signatures and everything. Have you gone over the ACT?
No.
So to be enrolled in college, you need to take a placement test. How many have taken the ACT already? Anybody other taken AccuPlacer? Okay, take an AccuPlacer. AccuPlacer.
Who has not
We have
taken any?
That's you.
Okay.
So, huh?
Like I took a free.
Okay. They'll probably, you can go to your guidance counselor and tell them you need to take a placement exam, and AccuPlacer is free if you haven't taken the if you haven't taken the full ACT yet. Because we'll need those scores sent up to campus. So when you take the AccuPlacer, if you go to guidance counselor, say you need the scores set to CCC. And so then they'll send those scores on. You need to have that done by January, so I'm giving you a couple months to take it if you haven't taken it. Those of you that have taken the ACT, I don't know if you chose CCC to send your scores to. Usually when you take it, you check mark what schools you want your scores to go to. We just have to, if you've taken it, we can like back in, get back and find that. So you want me to collect checks and books and
Yeah.
stuff now?
So
Alright.
if you brought your checks for the books today, I was looking for that price list.
It's $39.51. Yep, and made out at Columbus Bookstore. So, 1, 2.
Can I get mine at the end?
Yeah. All right. Sydney, and did you guys bring checks today? Okay, you'll have your money at the end. Okay.
Okay, who gave you money?
And Jared did. And Paul. And then we'll have 2 at the end that'll have their money at the end of class.
Okay.
And then if you have your other check with you, I'll take that too. Does it have your parents made it out? Does your last name match? Do you have your other check?
Oh, yeah.
So do you want to could you put your name in the 4 line right there?
Oh, should I do that?
Well, you're Lowski. You have your last name. That's okay. It's just when,
My other,
no. You have your books, I have your check. $39.51.
what's the other one? How much is that one?
$36. And that's made out to Central Community College if you need to do a check.
The assessment online, do we take that on our own time? Or would we have to put in like the information that we like enter it?
The AccuPlacer assessment, or the one on that one, the BP10?
Yeah.
That one, when you take it online, print your results for Doris, and I say in the directions, it's like activity sheet 2, is I think the directions for that $12 placement test, called the BP10, and takes 10 minutes or
Yeah,
so to
we'll
take.
talk about that in a little bit as a
But-
homework
But
assignment.
it says on in the thing, like in your directions, print out your results, because then you need those
Oh.
results to answer questions. So,
Mrs. Salyer, that may be a problem for him. That BB10 only takes credit cards.
Jared, do you remember this check?
I feel like you said it did. Yeah, check it out.
Okay, I'll check with him and see.
you're assigned pages to read. You're assigned like chapters from the book each month, but they're pretty tiny, so you can get through them pretty quickly. So, but you might have to come February reread that chapter to answer your questions that Doris has for you in your packet. Your homework will come in chunks. Every month you'll get a packet of homework to do for Doris. I will send that first page of your homework electronically to you if I have your email address. That way you can just click the links, so you don't have to type in those long YouTube addresses or the addresses when Doris has a video down for you guys to watch. I will try sending them out here before I leave today, so you have them, so that you can just click